All right, it's breakfast time. I'm going to show you how to make a great breakfast. I'm taking a break from ramen noodles today. I'm going to make a great breakfast. I'm going to show you what I have going on right here. I just went to the grocery store. I'm going to show you what I have. I got some eggs. Look at this. I got some eggs, some farm fresh grade A large eggs. 1 dozen came in here. These are from Indiana. I'll show you what the eggs look like. Look at that. Full dozen eggs. I'm gonna set this to the side. Look what right here. I have some ramen noodles. I got some Shin Black ramen noodles. I'm gonna save these for later. This is a treat. Absolute goodness. And then I have, look at this, bacon, 7-Eleven bacon. Absolute goodness. Right here it says real hardwood hickory smoked bacon, 16 ounces in here. Absolute goodness. And then to make things a little bit healthier, I'm gonna cook some Quaker oats right here, steel cut. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna get started on these right now. So let's go over here. Let's look at this. Zoom in here. I have a pot right here making some water. And I'm just gonna pour a little bit of the Quaker oats in here. Sprinkle a lot in there. Let these cook. It's gonna take quite a while to cook these, which I'm okay with. Turn the fire up a little bit. It's gonna take a while to cook those, so I'm gonna put those on right over there. So I'm gonna get started with the bacon, all right? Right here with the bacon. I have options. I can cook this on the stove, which can splatterate everywhere, so I'm avoid that, the splatteration. So I'm gonna cook these in the oven right here. All right, and so I'm gonna put the bacon on a pan and cook it in the oven. Absolute goodness. So let's see how to cook this right here. There's cooking instructions. In a skillet over medium-high heat, brown until crisp, brown evenly. I don't have time for that. I'm gonna cook them in the pan. So I'm gonna go ahead and look over here. I'm gonna go ahead and set the oven to bake around 400 degrees, 405 degrees. Absolute goodness. All right, so I'm gonna set it over there. And I'm gonna take the bacon and I'm gonna go ahead and open this bacon up to get ready to cook. How do I open up the bacon? It says lift here, used by, doesn't say, look at this. It's gluten-free bacon. All right, so just you guys out there who are gluten-free or just trying to watch how much gluten you eat, bacon, this particular brand of bacon is gluten-free. Absolute goodness. So let me go ahead and open this up. I don't know how to open this up. I don't have any pair of scissors. So I'm gonna use a butter knife to open this up. And look at this, pull out the bacon. Let me pull this plate over here, or the pan over here, so you can see all of this. Zoom out. Look at this. Right here, I'm gonna be cooking it, put it on the pan. Show you how to do this right here. So the bacon, or the bacon, as you say it in French. All right, I'm just gonna pull out some bacon. Pull out the bacon, and then I'm just gonna take the bacon, and then I'm gonna place the bacon this way, like right here. I'm gonna cook a lot of bacon because I could use some of the bacon later. So put some bacon right here. Let me see how many strips of bacon I'm gonna put on here. That's 3 strips. It is smelling good. It's smelling like the hickory smoke, just like it said. So I'm gonna place this all right here. Maybe I have space for about 3 more slices of bacon, maybe a little bit more. I might double it up. Put the bacon right here. Absolute goodness. Gonna go ahead and put 1 strip right here. I think I can put in like 2 more strips of bacon. So maybe get a couple more. Pull out some of the bacon, about 3 more strips of it, maybe 4. Absolute goodness. So the bacon out. Gonna take this, the bacon like that. Right here. Look at all that bacon. Smelling good, smelling great. I'm gonna just wash the hands a little bit so I get some of the bacon juice off of my hands. Give me 1 second while I wash it. Come up to the screen, smell the bacon. Smell the hickory smoke smell of the bacon. Doesn't it smell good? Absolute goodness. All right, so I'm gonna take the bacon. All right, so I'm gonna take it, look at the bacon. Look at it, and I'm gonna place this in the oven. All right, so I'm gonna come over here, take the bacon. I'm gonna put in the oven. Absolute goodness. I'm gonna cook it in there until it gets crispy to crisp. All right. Check up on the oats. I'm over here. Look at the oats. They're starting to boil. Let me grab a spoon. Just stir these up a little bit. All right. But guess what? We're gonna have coffee today. All right. So let me grab a cup. We're gonna have coffee today. Let me rinse off this really quick. All right, so I got the coffee over here. Let's see what kind of coffee I'm making over here. All right, so have coffee over here. I'm gonna be making some of this. All right, so let's see. What is this? Javalia Cafe French Roast. I speak French a little bit. Bacon, right? And so it only makes sense that I have Javalia Cafe French Roast coffee. Right here is full body, intense with flavor. All right, intensely dark and complex. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the coffee, put it in the coffee maker right here. Zoom out a little bit so you can see this. So I gotta put the filter right here. The filter keeps the coffee grinds from getting into the pitcher. And I'm gonna take this right here. I'm gonna take a couple of tablespoons of the French roast and put it right in top right here. It smells great. I'm gonna let you smell it really quick. Hold on, let me come up to the screen. All right, come up to the screen. Smell the French roast. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. All right, so I'm gonna put the bag of coffee away. And then I'm gonna show you a little bit how this is done. So I have the coffee right here. I have about 10 cups right here. I'm probably only gonna drink 11. And I'm just gonna pour some of it in the container right here. All right, put coffee. All right, so once you have that, I'm gonna put this down here. No, you can see it actually come out. So I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna press on and get that started. See if it starts coming out. If not, we'll come back to it and I'll let you see it sputtering into the pot. Absolute goodness. All right, so since we have that going on, I'm gonna take the bacon and I'm gonna put the bacon away. And I'm gonna get started with the onion. I'm gonna have sauteed onion. Oh look, it's starting to work. Look at this. All right, so the coffee, look at it, it's starting to come out. This is how the coffee works, okay? See, the water comes out and it goes over the coffee grinds, all right? And it drips down into the pitcher. Absolute goodness. All right, so I'm gonna assist this a little bit. It doesn't look like it's getting all moisturated. So I'm gonna assist that a little bit. All right, and just let that drip down in here. And we'll have some coffee in a matter of minutes. Absolute goodness. Meanwhile, come back over here, look at the oats. The steel cut oats are cooking. Absolute goodness. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and take a pan right here. So right here, I'm gonna saute some onions. I just so happen to have some onion ready to be sauteed. So I'm gonna go turn on the stove. I'm gonna turn on the stove, get it warmerated, and then I'm gonna actually put a little bit of butter into the pan for the onion. All right, just a little bit of butter. Absolute goodness. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the onion and I'm gonna saute them. Let me show you what I'm doing over here. All right, so this is the onion. I'm gonna get the outer layer out of it because this is the skin that I don't want. Absolute goodness. All right, so the skin of the onion I am shedding away from the onion, and I'm going to toss this in the garbage. All right, so I'm gonna take my knife and I'm going to slice the onion like this. Absolute goodness. Slice the onion. I'm gonna do it in fours. Then I'm gonna put them into the pan right over here. Go ahead, put it in the pan. Absolute goodness. Put it in the pan. Zoom them in here like here so you can see the onion. They're going to be start fritating relatively soon. You're going to want to stay tuned for this. I'm going to grab a spatula and I'm going to get to fritating the onions to sauteing. Absolute goodness. Alright, so where do I find a spatula? Here's my spatula right here. Just going to take my spatula, stir it up, get them nice. Let them start to cook a little bit. Come in close so you can see some of this. Oh, the coffee is starting to gurglate. Look, I'm going to let you look at it. Look at it. It's almost done over here. All right. Can't wait to get a fresh cup of that going on right here. Now look at the onion. They're going to saute. I'm going to want them to saute not all day, but just a little bit. I want a bowl. Bowl. Coming over there in 1 second. And what I'm going to do with the bowl, I'm going to mix the eggs. I'm going to have an omelette, or an omelette as you say in French. Now look at these onions, alright? The onions frying just perfect. Absolute goodness. Look at that. Smelling great. Smelling good. I don't know if you've ever sauteed onions, but I'm telling you, they smell great. Absolute goodness. Saturate some of these. Let me zoom out. Check up on the oats over here. Oats cooking nicely. Back up onion. So I'm gonna get started on the eggs. All right. So I have the bowl right here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sit the eggs in here. And I'm just gonna let them sit for a while, let them cinerate before I start to mix them. I'm gonna check up on the onion. Come over here. Look at that, zoom in. Now, the point is, you want to let them sweat just a little bit, maybe toasterate, but you don't want them to overcook, all right? So, you don't want the onions to overcook. That is a thing that you don't want. Absolute goodness. You can see they're starting to toasterate slightly. And that's all I want is slightly. I don't want them to brown like I'm cooking them. Just want them to sweat a little bit. Absolute goodness. I'm going to take the spatula and just spin them around just a little bit more. And I'm going to use this same pan right here. I'm going to use this same pan to cook the egg because there's a lot of onion flavoration in the pan that will permeate the eggs. Absolute goodness. I'm going to keep on stirring it with the spatula. Look at that. Nice and toasterated all the way around. Look, the coffee's almost done. I can't wait to have a sip of that right there. Absolute goodness. Alright, so I'm going to let these toasterate just a little bit more. I'm just going to stir these early in the morning. Absolute goodness. Stir these up a little bit. So let me grab a bowl. And I'm going to take the onion and I'm just going to put these on the bowl and just like let them cool off a little bit. Let them chill out while I mixerate the eggs. Let me go ahead and take the onions out. Absolute goodness. Eat the onions. Now look at this. Come up on your screen. Smell that. You see they're slightly toasted, sweating, smelling good. Let me go ahead and take this. Put this out here. Look at that. Absolute goodness. Now go ahead and onion. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see more of what I am working with over here. Look at that. Look at that. Smell the onion. I'm going to let you smell it. Come up to the screen. Smell this one more time. Absolute goodness. All right, so I'm going to get this onto the plate. Look at that. Look at the onion. Smell good. I'm going to set these to the side. And I'm going to get started on the eggs. All right, the eggs. You see the eggs over there? I'm gonna get started on that, but before that, we're gonna get a sip of this coffee. Over here, gonna get a sip of this coffee. All right, so I'm gonna back this up. It's steamer rating. Look at what happened over here, okay? I'm gonna show you what happened over here. Look at this. Remember that? It's still dripping a little bit. Look at that. The steam coming up. The fragrant smell of the coffee. Can you smell that? Smell it. Smell the coffee. Let me grab my cup. Well, that's still dripitating. I'm gonna let that drip, just the last couple of drips in there while I grab my cup. Grab a cup of coffee. All right, so I grab my coffee cup and I am going to have a sip of this. Let me turn this off really quick. I'm gonna get the coffee. Look at that. Look at that. Nice cup of coffee. I'm gonna let this cool. Maybe put a couple of cubes of ice in here. A couple of cubes of ice. Sit this down. Because I like my coffee, but I don't like coffee super hot. So let me come down right here so you can see what I'm working with. A hot cup of coffee. Look at that. Let me grab a couple of pieces of ice. Let it chill. Some people might call this iced coffee. I just call this coffee. Absolute goodness. A couple pieces of ice in there to chill it off. Absolute goodness. And one more piece on the top. Smelling good, smelling great. Now let's come back over here to the eggs. Look, the oats are still cooking. Look at that. They're still over there back there cooking nicely. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the eggs. And I'm gonna beat the eggs up. All right. So I'm gonna take the eggs, pull these out. All right, and crack the eggs. Whoa, look at that. That is skill right there. All right. Only a chef can do it like that, okay? Did you see how I did that? Take note. Maybe one day you'll be able to do it too. So I'm gonna go ahead and crack the egg open. So I'm gonna make 4 eggs today. All right, so crack the eggs open. And then last but not least, I have this egg right here. Look at that, come in there. Now, I like to spice rate my eggs up a little bit. I don't like them always bland, although there's nothing wrong with bland. So with that said, all right, let me zoom in right here. I'm gonna add a couple of spices into these eggs, all right? And so the egg, what I'm gonna add is I'm going to take a little bit of pepper flakes, all right? Pepper flakes, 100% All-American pepper flakes. Put them in there. Then a tad bit of salt, All-American salt. And 100% All-American pepper. And this is a little secret right here. No one tells you about this. Is a little bit of cumin. All right, a little bit of cumin. Just a little bit in there. All right, have that in there. I can't wait to have a sip of my cup of coffee right here. I'm gonna have a sip. Cheers to everyone eating breakfast out there today. All right, just gonna have a sip of this. All right, go ahead. Cheers. Salud. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. All right, so let me go ahead and beat these eggs. Now, when I beat the eggs, some people use an egg beater or a fork. I happen to use a spoon. Now, I use a spoon because it gives it a nice consistency when using a spoon. Let's zoom in really quick. Look at that. Nice consistency going on over here. And I try to beat the eggs for a little bit over 30 seconds. And that gets everything mixturated quite nicely. If you want to add more pepper for more spiceration, you can do so. However, I do not. I think this is pretty well. Add a little bit of pepper because I like the flavoration of pepper. All right, have that in there. Beat that up like this. Have another sip of the coffee. Look at that. Come on the screen, smell it. Fresh French roast coffee. All right, come on the screen, smell that. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Let me take a sip of this. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. Now, remember the oats over there. They're still boil ready. Trying to eat healthy. Stir this up just slightly. It's going to keep on cooking while I prepare the eggs. Absolute goodness. Let me check up on the bacon really quick. Check up on the bacon. Let me grab an oven mitt. Look at the oven mitt. Put the oven mitt on. Try to stay safe, you guys, okay? Oven mitt is a necessity. Absolute goodness. I'm gonna take this out. Come on. Oh, wow. Do you smell that? You smell the bacon? It's cooking right there. Absolute goodness. Smelling great. Look at that. Look, come on the screen. Smell the bacon. I'm gonna put it back in the oven to let it finish cook already. So slide that back in there. All right, go ahead and get the eggs. Beat eggs and bacon breakfast. Absolute goodness, all right? So I'm gonna beat this up just a little bit more. And then I'm gonna get started with the frying of the eggs in the pan. Absolute goodness. All right, but before we start to cook the eggs, let's check up on the bacon because I think it might be done. And I'm gonna get in close so you guys can see this one more time. All right, so let me go ahead, do this. Let me grab my mitten again. All right, look right here. Open this up. Smell this. Look at the bacon. Smelling great. Wow, smell this. Absolute goodness. Now look at this. Come up to the screen. Smell the bacon. Smell the bacon. It's good. I'm going to take this out and put this to the side. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side right here. Let it coolorate and crispitize. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put that right there. Turn off the oven. See, off button. All right, and then I'm going to get started on the eggs. I'm going to have you look at the bacon one more time. Look at that. All right, you know, just for the bacon's sake, I'm going to have another sip of my coffee. Absolute goodness. Cheers, salute. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. All right, so we're gonna get started on the eggs. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the fire. Let me zoom out a little bit. Turn on the fire. Get the pan heated up. Now I'm gonna show you a trick, okay? So if you want more flavoration to your eggs and you're cooking bacon, all right? So if you want more flavoration to your eggs and you are cooking bacon on the same meal, take a spoon. Let me zoom out so you can see all of this. Take a spoon, all right? And you're gonna take a little bit of the bacon grease, oil, flavoration, bacon butter. I'm gonna call it bacon butter. All right, let me turn this pan down. Don't wanna. All right, take a little bit of bacon butter. All right, look at the bacon butter. And I'm gonna pour a little bit of bacon butter into the pan. Now this is gonna add to the flavoration of the eggs. Now, trust me, you will think your eggs are amazing. Whoever's eating your eggs will be like, wow, this person is almost as good as a chef. I guarantee. Absolute goodness. All right, so we're gonna heat this pan up a little bit. Get the bacon butter spreaderated around in the pan. Look at that. Get it spreaderated around in the pan like this. Absolute goodness. So I'm just gonna get it like that and then heat this up Now while that's heating up, let me go ahead and get the bacon. Now the key with bacon, it comes, when you cook it, it makes a lot of oil, or some people say grease, I say bacon butter. And you'll want to soakerate some of that bacon butter up. So it's not, I'm gonna zoom in so you can see this really quick while the bacon butter is heating up in the pan for the eggs. And you're gonna wanna take a paper towel and soak up some of the bacon butter. So right here I have a paper towel. And so I'm gonna take the bacon, and I'm gonna put it on here. And as the bacon butter gets soaked up, the bacon will eventually become crispy to the crunch. Here's one already crispy to the crunch right there. Look at that. Smell the bacon. Come on the screen. I'm going to put this aside while my mouth is watering, and I'm going to go ahead and cook the eggs. Look at the bacon. Absolute goodness. Look at that. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. All right, so let's get started on the eggs with the bacon butter in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the eggs. I'm just gonna pour it in here like that. Absolute goodness. All right, so we got the bacon butter going on in there with the eggs. It's gonna start to cook. All right, what did I do with my spoon? All right, so I have my spoon over here. Rinse off my spoon. Now look at the eggs are going to start to cook, and I'm going to show you what I do with the eggs while they're cooking in order to make them absolute goodness, all right? So I'm going to take the eggs, and so while they're cooking in here, what I like to do is I like to take a spoon and pull the edges towards the center. Now what this does, it allows the egg to cook, all right? It allows the egg to cook, all right, like this. Look at that, look at that. Let me zoom in so you can see some of this. It allows the egg to cook. And then the runny part of the egg, it moves to the outside to cook on the outside. And this strengthens, all right, chef term, strengthens the center of the egg, all right. Move that like that. You can do a couple of options to move to the outside. You can shake and rake and rattle and roll this like that. All right. Rake some more of the egg like this with a spoon. Absolute goodness. All right, it's cooking nicely. I'm going to turn the fire up a little bit, and I'm going to grab the spatula. And I'm not sure if I'm going to make this scrambled eggs or just eggs omelet. It might be just a scrambled egg. That's what I'm feeling in the mood for. So I'm just going to keep on raking the egg like this. Look at that. Absolute goodness. This is a perfect utensil for scrambling eggs. You see how it makes them? And then do something like this. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add the onion to the mixer. Just going to scramble this one. Just keep on going like this. You can flipperate them if you want to. Look at that. Look at that. Absolute goodness. Now the thing with eggs, they still... All right, it's time for another sip of coffee. Salute. They still cook while after the fire is turned off. I'm going to flip it one more time. And then I'm going to turn the fire off. Absolute goodness. Let's go ahead and turn that fire off. And I'm going to go ahead and get my plate ready. Absolute goodness. I'm going to go ahead, scoop up some eggs. Put them right there. Look at that. Absolute goodness. Get a couple of strips of bacon. Look at that crispy, crunchy bacon. Zoom out a little bit so you can see this. A couple of strips of bacon. Look at that. And then I'm going to get the oat steel cut oats for the healthier side. They're back here. Now, with the oats, I'm gonna make this fancy. I'm gonna put a lot of fancy stuff in here. All right, so I'm gonna come over here. Let me show you the bacon. Get another crispier side piece of bacon to put in there. Look at that. Look at bacon, crispy. All right, crispy. Now I'm going to get the oats. Grab me a nice size bowl. Now I get fancy with my oats. All right, these are not just ordinary oats. These are chef type of oats. So I'm going to get this. I'm going to get my oats, put them in here. If you want thicker oats, cook them a little bit longer, like that. Look at that. All right, so I have the oats in here. Next, I like to put a banana in there. Go ahead and put the banana in here. Absolute goodness. So I'm going to take the banana, slice it up like this. Now look at what I do with the banana. I just take the banana and just go like this. Bop, 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 bop. Like that. Absolute goodness. All right, and put the banana in there. And then I like to top it off with a little bit of 100% All-American chia seeds. All right, put a little bit of chia seeds in there. All right, like that. And if you want to get fancier with it, put a little bit of, I'm going to show you this in a second, a little bit of 100% All-American classic almond butter. Go ahead and put a little bit of almond butter on here. You can use peanut butter if you want. Adds to the flavoration. And if you want to get even fancier with it, I'm talking about high class, fancy with it, you can add 100% almonds or pecans. Right here I have raw pecans. Sprinkle some pecans on top just like that. Now this is ultra fancy, all right? So I have a lot of fancy clientele that like ultra fancy with their ramen noodles. All right, so I have that in there. Then I'm going to go ahead and chow down. Now look at this. Look at this breakfast. I'm going to show you really quick. Look at the breakfast. Look at the bacon. Look at the eggs. Look at the healthier side with the steel cut oats, with the chia seeds, the almond butter, the oats, the banana, the pecans. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Look at that. Healthy, good, healthy, good. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness.